What's up, YouTube? You know what it is. Eddie from 802 Diesel Crew. Today we'll be taking a closer look at my Mac Tools tap and die set. Now this happens to be an older version, but it still has all the essentials. And let's take a closer look. You have a nice layout of the box and then the tray below, and some helpful tips. Starting off with the tray, or the tap section, you have your tap wrench here. You have a variety of taps on either side. You have your T-handle, and then you have a screwdriver. Right here is what you'll be using to figure out the depths of the threads, so that you can go ahead and take that number off these, which we'll get into, and correlate them with what is actually on the sizing chart. The box half, and you have your variety of dies. Then in the middle you have your hex die socket, your T-tap wrench body, over here is your T-tap wrench handle, right here is your hex die socket, and then your smaller actual dies. So this is what the set encompasses. So let's kind of get into how it works. Alright, so for this first portion we'll be cutting off the threads, but first we need to figure out what is the proper die we're going to need to reset the threads on here. So how we'll do that is we'll take this, then we'll take out the, let's see here, start somewhere in the middle I guess, the thread gauge. Let's see. No, it's definitely not a 14. I'll step it down one. See if it's a 13. Close, but not really. And then, okay, so now we got it. You can see that perfectly. That is the thread gauge that we need. So now that we can see that we have the right thread pattern, we simply come down here and we see that 3/8 is 16 NC. So let's see if we can find the right die. So I looked ahead a little bit right here, and here's our 3/8 and 16 NC. So this is the die we'll be using to cut some new threads. Let's try it out. Next up, we're going to need a stud, so let's make one. Perfect. Next up, we'll put a quick little beveled edge on this. Something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Next up, we find the appropriate hex die, and we grab the tool. We're going to insert. There is two different sides. One says start from the other, and the other side says nothing. So we'll put that inside there, like so. Tighten these down just a little bit. We'll put it onto what we're threading. And then what I like to do is just apply equal pressure and let it start to grab. And you'll know once it starts to grab. See how we're pretty level there? Now I need to put a little bit of oil in there. A little bit, not a lot. Okay, so the most difficult part is for it to get started cutting. Make sure you're always using some kind of oil down inside here. You don't want to mess your die up, and you want to make sure this is also tight. Mine has loosened up a little bit. See if I have a better shot for you guys. Now hopefully this is actually a better shot, but it might not be. Right there looks about good. So we'll slowly work the die down, work it back out, work it back on. So right now we're cutting. Put a little bit more oil in there. Don't want to ruin that. Don't want to ruin that tap. Main thing is keep it nice and flat. Work it back out a little bit. A little bit further here. Make those strands. Let's see what we have. That off. And voila. Might not look perfect. That is pretty nice. I do say so myself. So we'll do a quick test fit with the proper size nut. There we go. Couldn't ask for much better results than that. Obviously you'd want to clean these threads up a little bit more. But that's how you use a die successfully. Takes a little bit of time, a little practice, but big things are going slow and using your oil. It'll keep your die sharp and make nice clean cuts like those. Next up, we'll be putting a hole in this square stock so we can thread a hole for it. Alright, so now we have our hole pre-drilled. We have our fastener that we want to put through there. This happens to be a 14. So we come down to here, our pattern, and we need a 7/16, which we have right here. 7/16 tap. So let's take a closer look on how to make that make the threads for this bolt right here. Now, as we previously saw, I had drilled this hole out. This is where our tap's going to be going down in. But there's a couple different ways we can do this. The first method is we have the T-handle and the tap die wrench. And then this basically fits in there, and you tighten this down, and it holds it in place. This is a very good option, but there is a second one. The next option is a set of sockets like this, specially made to take in the taps. So I previously looked in it. For this one, it's going to take the number 5. So you push this in, and you can feel it seat, and then we're all locked in. And then you use your favorite ratchet. This happens to be a 3/8 flex head. Snap on, put it on, and now we have this to use instead, so I can have, a little bit more leverage and be able to kind of hold my hand here and look at what I'm doing. So let's check it out. Alright, so we have our hole, got some oil, we got our tap. Start it nice and slow, keep it nice and flush as you can. Add a little bit of oil. I can really feel it's going to bite. That's what's done now. It's been in there pretty good. A little bit further until it feels it's gone down pretty far. Alright, so now we're just going to work it down in until it feels good. We'll switch around, we'll back it out. Last step is to test fit our bolt, and voila, it fits. A+ job there. Pretty neat though, huh? You can see the threads we made down in there. Pretty nice. Quick recap of the equipment we used. Obviously have it PPE, Irwin vice grips, snap-on tape measure, tap and die set from Mac Tools. There's the part number. We used a FH X80 Alpha flex head snap-on 3/8, some tap sockets, very handy, Irwin drill bits, just some oil with a pretty standard oil can, DeWalt die grinder, and an industrial press. To quickly recap what we did, we put threads on this the stock part of this bolt. You can see the nut goes on there very nicely and comes off just as well. And here are the threads that we cut. Would have been a little bit nicer if the bevel was, a little bit more smooth, but overall, can't complain, and it would work in a pinch or if you had to make one. Lastly, we put threads into this square stock. You can see how well that worked. How easy it comes out. Alright, so if you liked this video, please give it the thumbs up. Comment, like, and share. Also get on my 800 subscriber giveaway for the pair of screwdrivers. But as always, Eddie from AO2 Diesel Crew signing out. Have a good one.